I'm Danielle, 43 years old, and the scene I can never forget is the nightmare I lived. My mother-in-law assaulted my newborn daughter so forcefully that she stopped breathing. And then she still blamed me. This shadow still haunts me, even as I see Julia, now 15, light up our home. I, a single mother, built a refuge far away from the chaos of a decade ago. At 29, I was a tax accountant downtown, excited to start a life with my husband, Ethan, with the promise of a peaceful home. Now, Julia is chasing a spot at one of the best high schools, and her determination reflects the strength we built together in those dark days. 10 years ago, I thought marriage would bring peace, maybe even joy. Instead, I was thrown into a battle that shaped me as a mother. Ethan, who was 31 when we married, was captivating and worked with me in the financial district. He lived with his widowed mother, Regina, in another city, but he swore we'd have our own apartment. She wants her own life, he'd say, and I dreamed of quiet nights for just the two of us. That dream, however, faded quickly. Regina's presence invaded our home, and her visits transformed our refuge into a battlefield. What started as friendly appearances turned into daily intrusions, teaching me that some boundaries are worth defending. Looking back, I realize how naive I was, thinking I could please everyone. Every tear, every confrontation, shaped the life Julia and I have today. This is a story of betrayal, resilience, and fierce maternal love, which I'm ready to share. At first, our apartment was a dream. Ethan and I, making pancakes together, toasting with craft beers on the balcony. I loved my job as an accountant downtown. Ethan was my safe harbor, but his mother had other plans. It all started with a barbecue she insisted on hosting at our place. "I have ribs," she said, her voice warm but insistent. "Grab some craft beers, Danielle, let's have fun." It was hard to escape her enthusiasm. That night, she devoured the ribs, drank 5 beers, and passed out on our sofa, her snores shaking the windows. I thought it was just one eccentric family night. I was wrong. Soon, Regina called every day, always with a pretext. "Danielle, are you cooking?" she'd ask while I chopped onions. If I said yes, she'd reply, "Great, I'm starving. I'll swing by." I hinted it was for just the two of us, but she'd laugh. "I don't eat much, share a little." She'd arrive, devour my casserole, and stay until after midnight, leaving beer cans everywhere. Ethan minimized everything. "She's excited to get to know you," he'd say when I begged him to intervene. "Isn't it nice?" Her visits became bolder. Once, she barged into our apartment while I was in my pajamas, saying she missed Ethan. My patience was wearing thin, but I clung to the hope that kindness could maintain peace. Deep down, I knew our home was slipping away, my dream of a new house fading under Regina's relentless intrusions. Regina's constant presence in our apartment suffocated me. One night, when her name lit up my phone, I exploded. "Danielle, what's for dinner?" she asked, her tone full of expectation. I tried a new tactic. "Actually, Ethan and I were thinking of coming to your place tonight," I said, forcing an excited tone. Silence. "That's not good," she stammered. "I can't prepare anything special." I insisted. "We don't mind. We'd love your food." Her voice became sharp. "Are you asking me to cook? That's not fair." I held firm. "Please don't come here tonight. We need space." My heart pounded as I hung up, half expecting her to show up. But she didn't. 4 days. Her calls stopped, and I felt a hint of triumph. Ethan noticed, but seemed uneasy. "Are you sure that was the right decision?" he asked, shifting uncomfortably. "She means—" "Well," I interrupted, "she promised us privacy." Ethan mumbled. "You said you'd talk to her?" He grumbled. "Yeah, okay." But nothing changed. A week later, my mother-in-law was back in our city, though she knocked on the door first. I held my ground. "Regina, We agreed to keep some distance. Let's stick to that. She scoffed, but left. It wasn't perfect, but it was progress. Pride filled me. I was defending our home, even if it meant tension. However, I sensed Regina's retreat was temporary, like a storm brewing. Those quiet nights in our home, just Ethan and me, fueled my hope. I could fight for our life, one boundary at a time, even if Regina's next move loomed over us. A pregnancy test brought joy and nervousness. I was pregnant. They were incredible months, enjoying my pregnancy so much, imagining my baby in my arms. I already loved her more than anything. In my 8th month, I planned to stay at my parents' house, desiring my mother's support. Ethan agreed, though he seemed distracted. At 39 weeks, I gave birth to Julia at the city's main hospital. Her tiny face stole my heart. Regina stormed into my hospital room the next day, waving a list. "I have baby names," she announced proudly. "We've already chosen Julia," I said gently, hoping she'd back off. She scowled, without asking me. "She's my granddaughter." Ethan, nearby, hesitated but said, "Mom, the choice is ours." Regina insisted, "You can still change it. I'll take care of the paperwork." My mother, calm but firm, intervened. "Julia is their daughter, not yours." Regina glared at her and stormed out. A week later, as I prepared to recover at my parents' house, Ethan and Regina arrived at the hospital to take me to our apartment. "Everything's ready for Julia," Regina said with a forced smile. "I'm staying at my mother's house," I replied, surprised. She scoffed. "You think that's best for Julia? Ethan's waiting at home." My mother intervened. "I'm here to help." "They're fine," Regina retorted. "Come on, Danielle." "I'm not leaving." Ethan added, "I want you home, but Mom will help." Against my intuition, I went to our house to avoid conflict, hoping Regina's help would lighten my burden. Deep down, I feared I had opened the door to more chaos in our apartment. But Julia's soft sounds gave me strength to face what came next. In our apartment, I was a sleep-deprived mess, balancing Julia's feedings with my recovery. Regina's help was pure disorganization. She showed up daily cooing "Grandma's here for Julia," but wreaked havoc. She'd take Julia out of her crib mid-nap, causing her to cry, then hand her back, saying, "She's cranky today." I'd plead, "Regina, let her sleep." But she'd ignore me. Babies need love, not schedules. She ate my carefully prepared dinners, leaving dishes piled up, and refused to do chores. "I'm here for Julia, not for housework," she'd say, drinking beer. I'd ask her to go to the grocery store, but she'd laugh. "Trying to keep Julia all to yourself?" Ethan was no help. He'd come home late from work, smile at Julia, say, "She's adorable," and evade chores. When I asked him to wash bottles, he'd leave them half done, muttering, "I'm tired too." I was drowning. One night, I pleaded, "Ethan, tell your mother to stop. She's making everything harder." He sighed. "She's excited. Give her a break." My frustration bubbled. No one listened to me. Julia's cries seemed like my own, a plea for peace. I tried Regina again. "If you're here to help, maybe cook." "I'm exhausted." She smiled ironically. "You handle the chores, I'll handle Julia." When I said Julia needed quiet, she retorted, "You're too strict. No wonder she's irritable." I felt trapped in my home, but Julia's trusting eyes, her little hand in mine, kept me fighting. I wasn't just surviving. I was protecting her, determined to shield our life from Regina's storm. One morning, I was beyond exhausted. Ethan offered a rare break. "I'll take care of Julia. Mom's going back to her house. We'll manage," he said. I collapsed into bed, grateful. An hour later, Julia's sharp screams woke me. It wasn't the usual crying, but pure anguish. I rushed to the crib, my heart pounding. Ethan was gone. Regina was by the crib, scowling, while Julia cried, "Where's Ethan?" I demanded. "He left, a friend called," she muttered. "And you're doing nothing?" I said firmly, checking Julia's diaper. It was soaking wet. As I changed her, she calmed down, snuggling into me. Regina reached out. "Give her to me, she's fine." I hesitated, but Julia whimpered. Regina's face twisted. Why is she always crying? Her night cries are annoying. In a flash of fury, she slapped Julia's head hard. Julia's cries stopped. Her body went limp, her arms dangling. Horror suffocated me. "What are you doing?" I screamed, grabbing Julia. "You're going to kill her." Regina scoffed. "She's quiet now." Julia's chest barely moved. With trembling hands, I called emergency services. "My baby is barely breathing. She was hit." I sobbed. Regina froze, her insolence crumbling. Paramedics rushed Julia to the hospital. I clung to her, praying. In the emergency room, Regina lied to a nurse. She fell from the crib. I screamed, "You hit her." The doctor's voice was grim. Mild shaken baby syndrome. From a blow, not a fall. My world spun, but Julia was everything. I held her hand, wishing she would fight, as Regina's lies unfolded in the sterile hospital corridors, our nightmare reaching its climax. Julia stabilized, sleeping soundly. But the doctor's words echoed. Shaken baby syndrome is the result of a violent impact, not falls. Regina cornered stammered, "I didn't mean to do it." I was furious, but focused on Julia. The police arrived, stern faces. "We need to talk about the assault," one of them said. Regina pointed at me. "She's mistaken." My heart sank. She was framing me. I went to the police station, leaving Julia with the nurses, and told them everything. Regina's chaos, the slap she gave, Julia's collapse. The officer nodded. "We'll talk to her." Back at our apartment, Ethan waited, his eyes cold. "Mom says you hit Julia," he accused me. "How could you?" I trembled. "She's lying, Ethan. She hurt our daughter." He scoffed. "You went to the police." I explained the police were after Regina, but he wouldn't listen. Regina's voice cut through the air. "I see. You're not welcome here." I clenched my fists. The truth is coming out, and I'm staying. The doorbell rang. It was the police. They asked us to sit. Regina fidgeted. "Your stories don't match," an officer said. Regina repeated the lie, but her details faltered, her voice failing. She sobbed, nodding when asked, "Did you hurt Julia?" Silence fell. I stared at her, my voice firm. "If you come near us, I'll sue you for assault." She pleaded, "No, don't." The officers led her away. Ethan, shaken, murmured, "I didn't know." I retorted, "You believed her instead of me." The betrayal hurt, but Julia's safety anchored me. I knew the next steps would be difficult, but I was ready to fight for our future. Ethan's apology came too late. "I messed up," he said, head bowed. "I didn't think Mom was capable of that." My resolve hardened. "You thought I was capable," I retorted. "You failed Julia and me." He pleaded, "No divorce, we can fix this." But I was decided. "You're not the husband or father we need. Get out." His face fell, but I focused on Julia. I hired a lawyer, filing for divorce and accusing Regina of assault in court. Downtown, Regina's tears didn't convince the judge, who fined her and prohibited contact. Ethan fought the divorce, promising changes, but his distrust was unforgivable. The judge granted me full custody, child support, and alimony, securing our future. We moved into a cozy apartment downtown, painting Julia's room blue, her favorite color. Nights were tough. Julia's cries echoed old fears, but I calmed her, whispering, "We're safe now." Regina's shadow faded. I resumed my work as a freelance accountant, my clients praising my strength. My mother brought comforting casseroles and support, saying, "You're a warrior, Danielle." Every step, signing the divorce papers, decorating our downtown home, felt like freedom. Julia's first laugh, her wobbly steps, were my victory. I wasn't just fleeing, I was building a life full of love. The scars remained, but they were proof of our survival. In our new neighborhood, with its quirky cafes and neighbors, I saw a new path for Julia and me, far from the chaos that came with Regina. A real home where we could thrive. Our downtown apartment became my sanctuary. Julia's laughter filled the space, her toys scattered across our cozy living room. On her first birthday, she was already walking through the vibrant streets, chasing butterflies while I smiled. I embraced motherhood, joining a mother's group, where I found friends who celebrated my resilience. Freelance accounting kept me busy, my laptop glowing late into the night. My mother, on her visits, brought pies and wisdom. "You built a real home," she said, watching Julia play. Regina stayed away, bound by the court order, and Ethan's supervised visits at a downtown park were brief, focused on Julia. I didn't trust him, but allowed it, hoping he'd make an effort. He rarely did. It hurt, but Julia's milestones, her first mama, her pirouettes to music, healed me. I started writing a journal, recounting our ordeal in our old apartment, and it showed my strength. I wasn't a victim. I was a fighter who had saved Julia. Our nights were simple. French fries, reading bedtime stories, Julia's head on my shoulder. Those moments were sacred, proof that we had won. I started dreaming again, maybe a small accounting firm or a trip to the beach with Julia. The future shone, with its murals and cafes. Julia and I weren't just surviving, we were thriving. Every smile of hers, every step, was worth the fight. Today, Julia is 15, a determined teenager, eyeing one of the best high schools in our city. Our home is still alive with her art and laughter. Looking back, that nightmare we had gone through, Regina's betrayal, Ethan's failure, hurt us deeply, but despite that, they transformed me into the mother I am today. I fought for Julia with all my strength and beyond, my greatest triumph. The scars remain, but they are emblems of survival, reminders of the life we built. I share our story not out of pity, but to show that a mother's love can endure anything. Julia's trust, her joy, prove that we won. Thank you for listening to Danielle's story. Leave your opinion in the comments. We'd love to hear it. If you liked this story, please like and share this video to strengthen our community, and subscribe to the channel for more emotional stories.